Hey guys, this is Greg Beast here. Jerry Reganese joining me. We're going to be breaking down the face-off units for this season 2021 for NCAA Division I lacrosse. Today we had two games that are going on. We're right in the middle of the Denver Utah game. Earlier, Mercer played Bellarmine. Bellarmine got their first win of the year. We just wanted to kind of go over what we've seen from the face-offs. This morning, Tom Abbott, the head of officials for the NCAA, sent out a memo saying that because of COVID restrictions, only for NCAA, only for this spring, the officials are going to be 5 yards back. There's going to be two officials. One is supposed to be up at the line, looking down the line. One is supposed to be 5 yards back behind the players. Both players start 6 feet away from the ball. When they're told to go down, they're supposed to go down quickly and efficiently. If they have to be adjusted, the officials will tell them. If they are taking too long, they're going to blow it dead and give it to the other person. They're going to say set verbally with no physical cadence and then blow the whistle. Well,
when I first heard that, I kind of went back to the preset days where guys could kind of get away with whatever they wanted as long as they were quick with it, as long as there wasn't a ton of time. The reason why guys were able to get away with stuff back in the days that referees would just set the ball down and blow the whistle because there was no set. It was just kind of roll through the ball. And I immediately went back to that as soon as I heard that. So I understand. I'm just not super in love with it.
Right. This summer we were tarred and feathered because we were saying, look, there's going to be rule changes coming. Let's get out in front of them and let's work. Everybody, some people were on board with that. Some people hated us because we were being dismissive, they thought. Now everyone's thankful because we were on board and we were getting guys prepared. Now, when we look at this, you and I are on the same page. I totally understand why you want to do this from a safety perspective. Perfect. But we also have to look at the implications. Cheating used to be an issue. Cheating came out when they brought the physical set call down. It kept guys straight up and down, kept them off the plastic. You could tell. And it doesn't even mean you're meaning to do it. Like we're watching this Denver game right now. There's leaning all over the place. We're not saying the players are purposely doing it. The referee from 2 feet away look down the line and not call the lead. That's crazy. So you're basically gifting the other guy face-off advantage. They're driving us crazy. Every 2 years, change the rules. Let's do it this way. Change the rules. Okay, now they're saying this year, only one step. Yeah, it was already written as one step. The officials never, ever went by the book. So now we're hearing, point of emphasis, one step. What do we watch today? Guys are taking 3 and 4 steps after they clamp, doing full defensive turns, dragging the head of the stick all over the place. The problem is never the players. The problem is never the rules. The problem is the officials getting caught up and being on the same page. We've heard, I've gotten text messages today. Guys played UNC High Point scrimmage today. They said guys were choking up on the plastic. They were leaning up to the ball, and the whistles were lightning fast. This is having a little bit of a struggle today. Well, what do you expect? The kid just found out the new rules this morning. I don't know. The officials are going to have to do a good job. If you were going to give them a checklist of what they should do from standing back this far, because we did it in the MLL for a couple of years like this, what would you tell the officials to do to keep it black and white?
As far as what I would tell them, I don't have to tell them anything. They put another 5 pages in the rule book in black and white this year. It's literally in black and white. There's no gray area. It's just call it the way it's supposed to be. The only consistent since 2010, when they started just every 2 years throwing something new in the gears, has been the referees. And they're always 3 years behind. And again, I'm not knocking these guys. It's just,
no, of course not.
Listen, like we always say, if a guy steps out of bounds and his foot crosses the line, it's never, I don't think your whole foot was over, or it's black and white. You're out of bounds. If you're leaning, you blow it dead. Son, you were leaning. Don't do that. If an attackman is clamping down on a defenseman's stick with his arms, hey, son, you're holding him. Don't do that. It's black and white. Just call it the way it's supposed to be, and everything will be fine. You set the precedent day one. Guess what guys aren't going to do? I have guys texting me right now. He goes, guys are going, oh my gosh, it's going to be a long season because everybody's watching this game right now, and guys are literally all but TP'd up.
Yeah, you're right. And I think if I were to give an official, I'd say, look at the rule book, one step. If you see a second foot hit the ground, they're out. If they look up, they're out. If you walk up there, guys, for the most part, know if they're lining up straight. If you have to say 3 times in a row, white, straighten your stick, you know what? Just letting you know, next time I have to come out here and say that, I'm blowing it dead and I'm giving the other team the ball. And if you call it on a kid on day one, they're going to stick with it. If you get a little lackadaisical, because I know a lot of refs always say the same thing, I don't want to get in the middle of this. Guess what, brother? That's your job. That's literally your only job description, is to get in the middle of this.
We're literally
make sure everybody's playing by the rules. Because if you and I face off in a game and I don't want to get in the middle of you leading a little bit, and then I go 2 for 15, you may have just cost me the rest of the season play, right? So that's the problem. Now, getting off that soapbox, when we look at it technically, the way the faceoff guys are going to have to adapt. We are seeing guys kick their feet back. We're seeing kind of both faceoff guys. Utah's winning the majority of the faceoffs today, and they're doing it even though they're kicking their feet back. They're the first person to react after impact, like you and I have been telling all of our FOA guys. The first guy after impact to rip is usually going to pull the ball out. Now, Utah's doing that first. Now, we did just see at the end of that third quarter, went out there and actually went on a quick rake. And because his opponent on Utah is kicking his feet back, it worked perfectly. It'll be interesting to see if guys start to be able to see that stuff, pulling the ball out quickly, whether they're going on a pinch or a rake, being able to judge the other guy. Because right now we're seeing both teams' wings. They're just sprinting in with no plan at all. It's kind of a mess.
Yeah, I think you're seeing a lot more like kind of dumpster fire like after the draws, which is fine if that's what the NCAA always wanted, and I have no problem with that. There's not a ton of wing play being implemented. It's obvious. Listen, no one's taken faceoffs, not even when they were with their teams in October. So this is all going to be new for these guys. We're seeing a couple rakes, we're seeing a couple shovel counters, which is good. And those shovels work when you're allowed to. I'm sorry, those shovels don't work as well when you are allowed to take those defensive exits, because guys are getting underneath and guys are able just to kind of scramble around, and the shoveler is getting a hold call when normally the kid has to bail. So again, all this stuff kind of ties into just calling the rules the way they are written in black and white, and everything's going to be a lot cleaner. But now we have this kind of, this mishmash of old rules and new rules, defensive exits and holds and leans, and you're only going to get more it's only going to get more complicated from here if they don't stop this now.
Yeah, and that's what I'm afraid of. Is I would love, you and I always talk about, we'd love to see a day where every game is called almost identical, because then as face-off guys, we don't have issues anymore. The fact now is all of these kids are going to sit there and they're going to have to watch game film on which refs they have each week. That is horrific, right? That stinks that they have to waste time doing that instead of working on their technique. So hopefully the NCAA looks at this, Mr. Abbott and the other guys who are in charge of the rules committee, the officials, and they can say, okay, look, we need to do X, Y, and Z. Let's use this as an example now. They get out in front of it. Who knows if that's going to happen? But if it does, that would be great, and then we can get some consistency. Because, like we said, this is a one-year thing, but everybody's looking at it as a one-year thing. What if you're a college senior, right? It's not. It's a much bigger deal. So I think and then look. We've heard the rumblings. If TD goes to Denver and you're staffing us, you want to make your mark on this game. So he's probably already got a little bit of pressure on him. And now he's also got to figure this stuff out too. I think that they'll all be fine eventually. The problem is it's probably going to take 3 or 4 weeks before they can adjust to how this officiating is going to happen. I just don't think there's any excuse. If you're 3 feet away from a play and you're staring directly at sticks, you can tell if they're perpendicular or not. And that's what's annoying.
And this is minimum barrier to entry stuff. This isn't like, listen, if you don't understand what a one-step turn is because you just don't get it, okay, listen, I'm not going to hold somebody's feet to the absolute fire on that. That's not the end of the world. It's not great, but straight up and down, it's as black and white as it gets.
Hands on plastic, it's easy.
This is the easy stuff. It's not like oh, sir, his some sort of weird face-off technical thing that only me and you know about. This is boilerplate.
Yeah, we are going to be breaking down the previews of each conference starting tomorrow. We'll be doing a 10-minute series on each conference, kind of the guys that are sticking out, what to look for. Now that we have an idea of maybe what these face-offs are going to look like from the officiating crews, we can give you guys a little bit more of a breakdown of who we see kind of rising to the top. So we hope you guys enjoy the rest of this game. Jerry, I'll see you tomorrow, and we'll start with the ACC.
Tremendous. Looking forward to it.